Hello, my name is Adam, CptOats. I am a Blood Bowl coach who plays in London and around the sort of tournament scene. Um, I am putting together a few videos to go over some Blood Bowl rosters. So basically, what you're going to see is each race there are going to be two rosters. One which I think is the kind of like um, minimum viable roster, where I would expect, as I said here, a competent coach should be able to deliver a 50% record with the roster. For the minimum viable roster, I would advise not really going below that. So if there is a tournament pack and the race doesn't get the minimum, I would look elsewhere. Um, Below that is going to be an ideal pack. So you know, this is a roster that's going to be like really competitive in a field. Depending, obviously, there's always some context around it, but you should be able to get a good tune out of it. Um, Obviously, some of the races are just inherently weaker, so it's hard to sort of do that. But yeah, we'll have a look and we can talk through the rosters. Stars, I've done some recommendations for stars, but I've mainly kept away from doing star builds. I've done a couple, and then a couple of races I've done like a chassis build, to say, this is kind of like a core, and then you'll have some money left over, and you can pick one of the stars or whatever. I've also given each team a rating, so I've collated all the ratings here. You will see, no surprise, the strong races. I think the two strongest races in the meta are Amazons and Necro. Closely behind we've got the Orcs, probably OWA as well. And then I've put some other sort of races in A as well. Norse, I think, are pretty good. Lizards, expensive, but still super strong. And there is less guard in the meta now, so they're going to be good. Nurgle, I've put A here, but the offense is still poor, but the defense is going to be absolutely brutal against them. Underworld, uh, super cheap. Got the fouling, got the gutter. Vampires still strong. I don't think they're S tier as they were before. And Wood Elves here, A. I think the best elves now, Dark Elves, have taken a bit of a hit. So, but this is early. We haven't even started playing, so this is just a first take. So let's go on to the rosters. First up, I've got Amazons, which I think is actually really helpful because I think they're the best team in the game. And the roster hasn't changed much as well. So hopefully you'll be able to see here what I'm trying to do with the two rosters. So I've got at the top here, I've got the rating, obviously S. The stars. We have, what I've done here is I've not listed every star that's eligible to play for them, because some of the races, some of the stars just aren't good. So you're just not going to take them. Oh, I should also say, I've not included Grack and Crumbleberry in here, because I'm assuming they're going to get FAQ'd, because at the moment it's basically a comically easy one turn that I'm sure was not the intention of the game designers. So I'm sure that'll be FAQ'd, so I've not included them. If you get a chance to play Grack and Crumbleberry before the FAQ and you like a bit of cheese, then go for it. Should be a bit of fun. Yeah. So what I've said, Amazons, minimum viable. Sorry, I've also put skills here. So these are the core skills you want to go for: block, guard, wrestle. I've put in bold the elite skills. One more thing I should have said. I'm going to do a few. This video is going to be broken into a few parts. I will put the link to this form in the video description, and you'll be able to see it yourself. So what I've said for Amazon's minimum viable is 1080. This will get you 13 players, 9 line women, 2 blitzers, 2 blockers, 3 rerolls, and apothecary. So yeah, that's loads, isn't it? 5 primary skills, so probably block, guard, blockers, even block, blitzers, or block wrestle, and then yeah, block or wrestle on the lino. You probably want 1 wrestle, 3 block, and a guard. That's probably the way to go there. Put where you want. I've said the ideal is 1170, 7 primaries. You know, if you get this in a tournament pack, I wouldn't go to this because this is outrageous. But yeah, this is extremely strong. This will get you 13 players again, 8 linos, 1 thrower. So on the ball is quite useful, especially on a short drive. Amazons are excellent on defense, so you are going to generate those short drives. So having the thrower to be able to sort of get the business done is going to be helpful situationally. 2 blitzers and 2 blockers, obviously. 7 primaries. You know, the skills are well known. 4 rerolls and an apo there, which is just outrageous. So yeah, very good. S tier. Yeah, very strong. Next up, we have Black Orcs. So I've put these down as C rated purely because, I mean, you could argue that they're D rated. I put them down as C just because orcs notably have lost a couple of strength 4. Dwarves aren't really, although that was never a hard matchup for them. Elves, I think, are going to be less common. Lots of teams have lost guard access, so actually their strength is going to be a bit of a bigger asset, I believe. So that's why I've given them a C instead of a D. The costings are actually super awkward on them, which is a bit annoying. So I've gone for the minimum viable being this 1110k. That gives you 12 players. I've said you probably need 7 skills, 7 primaries minimum. What this is going to give you is all your Black Orcs, obviously, which is non-negotiable, your Troll, which is non-negotiable, and then 5 of these rubbish Goblins. You've got 3 rerolls and an Apo, you know, and then you can do what you want with the skills. Block, guard, mighty blow, some of each probably here, guard on the Troll probably, and probably a DP Gobbo actually, because they've got DP on primary access now, which is good. Sadly, you can't afford a bribe without here, so yeah, there you go. I've put for the ideal roster, I've just added the bribe, I've added more skills, I've added a stack, so yeah, this is the core, and then you just build on this. It's not very good, honestly. At 1200, well, yeah, so yeah, even at 1200 here, you can't add the last goblin because you can't afford it. There's no good place to put the leader, so they're just really tricky to build, and it's just not very good. There are some decent stars. Bomber is obviously always going to be banned, but if he's not, take it because it's broken. Fungus is quite fun because you can grab and make those angles, so that's a thing. But you'll need a bribe probably, because you'll probably want to then have a DP goblin, and then you've got the bribe to either do fungus or the DP, depending on how it's gone. Hafarka is obviously outrageously overpowered, so that's good. Ripper has bullseye, so he can do stuff, but you can't really exploit it. So I don't know. They're not very good. I've just given them the C because of the strength that's built in and what I expect to be less guard flying around. So there we go. That's Black Orcs. Next, we've got the new team, Bretonians. I think these are terrible. I've given them a C, which is probably generous, honestly. So what I've given them as a minimum viable is 1160. So already we're outside what you would expect to see in normal tournaments, and I think a lot of tournaments are going to be lowballing it at the start. So this is already a problem, right? That gives you 13 players, and I've said 6 primaries. So what do you get for this? You get 7 linemen, you get 2 catchers, 2 throwers, and 2 ground knights. I've included all the positionals here because AV9 Plus is better than AV8 Plus, obviously. And then you want to spend your skills to skill up these players. And I've highlighted here the the skills you want to take are block, guard, and dodge. Tackle is okay. If you've got like an extra skill knocking around, you can put it on one of the linos and have a sort of rackle piece, which will be okay. You will notice I've not put Mighty Blow here, despite the Ground Knights having strength access. That is because you are a strength 3 team. You only have 2 pieces that can take guard, and they both need to take guard. So, I don't see any other possibility than both of these getting guard. The throwers are both going to be block, because that's all they get. And the catchers, block or dodge. Up to you. I'd probably go guard, guard, block, block, dodge, dodge if I was playing this. I've put 4 rerolls here as the minimum. If you're fighting in strength, you only have 2 guard. You're going to be rolling a lot of dauntless rolls. You're also going to be rolling a lot of dodges because they are going to press into you, and you're not going to be able to fight back. So 4 rerolls for the dauntlesses, for the dodges, the lots of 2+ and 3+s you're going to need to roll to make this work. You've also got an Apo there. The linos are going to take KOs. You might even want to like Apo a KO. And obviously, there is half a chance of badly hurt now, so the Apo increases in value if we get one of the positionals taken out. Not a very good team, I don't think. Hence why my ideal, I've actually done something a bit different here. What I've said is the ideal is 11 players. You need 5 primaries. This is what you need left after you've paid your star tax, which presumably you're going to be paying. This gives you 11 players, 8 linemen, 1 catcher, that's going to hold the ball for you, and 2 ground knights, and they're going to be giving guard. So you've got a couple of guard, a dodge there, and then, yeah, a couple of skills left over to, tackle lineman or whatever. If you get a stack, great. Probably guard Mighty Blow on or one of the ground knights, or a blodge catcher. So this sort of core, and this gives you a couple of rerolls. I've put no Apo here as well, right? This core package costs $7.95, and that gives you 355k left. And then we can look up to here on the stars what we can afford. I mean, you can get Griff for that. Griff's 300. Skrorg is really good now. I think he's 265 or something like that. Block, Mighty Blow, Juggernaut, Claws. Pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll work. Better than Zug now, I think. Cindy, if she's not banned, obviously, great. I don't think that will get you Morg, but yeah. So I honestly think these are a star caddy now in the ideal situation. And here, look, you've got 10 combat skills. Right, you've got a lot of combat skills, and they can just support your star to go in and do the business. I'm really looking forward to playing Skrorg, and I think I'm going to paint up my Bretts in a way that will match my Skrorg model, because that's what I'll be looking to do with these guys. So yeah, on to the next one. We've got Chaos Chosen. I've given a B rating here, which I think is probably generous, but whatever. Stars, I've said Borak and Morg, but realistically, I don't ever think you're going to be taking stars with these guys, just because the money. Borak's not that good now. He's lost DP+2, so I think the stars are probably more for League. For these guys, core skills are as they ever were: block, guard, Mighty Blow. The elites. Wrestle here is good. You would probably want 1 wrestle pieceman, and I put 2 heads here as well. It can be decent to have a 2 heads carrier, and we secure the ball now. Sure hands is just less important. I think if your roster doesn't start with sure hands, I just wouldn't bother taking it, because STB gives you a 2+ pickup. You can't reroll. Sure hands can't be used to reroll the STB, so you know, if it's in a bad spot, then you just use a team reroll to reroll the STB. Or indeed, if it's a free plus, if you get sacked or whatever. For minimum viable here, I've gone, it's a big package actually. I've gone for 11.25 cash. They're actually pretty cheap now. That gives you 12 players, which is 4 warriors, 7 beastmen, and the ogre, which I think is the standout best big guy. That's 8 skills, 7 primaries, 1 secondary. You might be able to do it with 6 and 1, but it's getting a bit hairy at this point because you need to get your block and your guard on. So yeah, the secondary is obviously for the block ogre, and then the warriors are block or guard, probably minimum 2 block, probably 3 and 1 or something like that. Maybe 2 and 2, and then some block and wrestle on the beastman, maybe a 2 heads if you're feeling a bit fruity. 3 rerolls and an apo. So you know it's 12 men, 3 rerolls and apo. So actually, like, the amount of players is decent, but the combat skills are going to be lacking because you don't start with any. So this is a problem with the team. So yes, on to the ideal. What I've said. This is I've given them more cash, another reroll, more skills. This is just piling on more combat skills. You know, they get a couple of stacks. That's great. You get maybe a block mighty blow, a block guard, warrior, or maybe just a couple of block guard. Probably what I would do. But yeah, you just more combat skills and stacked altogether. Obviously, I've not really referenced the elite skills other than highlighting them here. Most of the rosters are pretty damaged by sort of repeat skills. If it is 4 skills as intended by GW, apparently, if the maximum is 4 elite skills, full stop, then a lot of rosters are just non-competitive. So I don't expect that to be taken up by most tournaments, and I would avoid going to those tournaments personally. But you know, you can always do fun stuff with rosters. But yeah, I'm talking about like proper tournaments. You know. Anyway, so Chaos Dwarves are up next. I mean, they were absolutely destroyed. Well, we thought they were destroyed, but now everybody else is worse. So they're actually looking a bit better. I've said the minimum viable roster here. 1080 gold, that gives you 12 players, and I've said they want 6 primaries really. So yeah, pretty cheap. You can get a relatively decent team on the field for not much money. So I expect a lot of 1100 tournaments to come up, especially at the start. So yeah, I think you're going to be able to play these guys. Yeah, 3 rerolls and an apo. What does that give you on the pitch? 2 ball sentinels, so you give them block. Flamer, you probably give it guard because it's quicker than the blockers. And then blockers, guard, and mighty blow to taste. And then some hobgoblins to round out the roster. They're not getting anything with the skill allocation, so tie it here. But you might, if you get a larger package, think about sticking DP on one of them. This is 1180 here, and I've gone still no Minotaur actually. 13 players. I did toy around putting the Minotaur in, but it's just terrible. I can't actually recommend it. You know, if you want to have a bit of fun with it, sure. 2 ball centaurs, 2 flamers, 2 blockers. So all of your like good players on the roster. We got a stabber in here for a bit of a laugh as well, and 4 hobgoblins, 13 players, 3 rerolls, apo, 9 skills and a stack. I've said, so if you get the stack, block mighty blow one of the ball centaurs to be a blitzer, and then you can just spam guard in. Yeah, great. Maybe a block on your stabber to carry the ball and a DP hobgoblin, as I said before. So yeah, they are quite cash. They can be cash hungry, but if you get 1180, like, or if there's a tournament of 1200, And the generous skill package is actually going to be quite good because you're going to be able to spam guard like no one else can apart from orcs, really. So, yeah, not terrible. Oh, Chaos Renegades next. I put them down as a C tier rated, which probably is just generous because I just love them. But yeah, it's not good. What did they get in the new edition? They got sure hands on the thrower. That is still animosity. So sure. That's annoying because what you would like to do is carry on the thrower and have the Dark Elves handoff threat in some matchups, but that's not really going to work. You're probably just still picking up on the Dark Elf. But I have taken it in both circumstances because sure hands is good to have against stripping teams, notably Wood Elves, really. Skaven are gone now, so it's just Wood Elves. So what have we got here then? So I've said the minimum viable is 1145, 7 skills with a secondary. That gives you 12 players, 3 rerolls, apothecary. I've got 5 linos, 6 including the orc. I don't like the Skaven, but yeah, you can just put a Skaven in if you want to. I've taken the goblin. He's got devious and mutations, so DP or 2 heads on him. The Dark Elf is taking dodge here. The Throw is taking block. The Troll and the Ogre are guards, and the Rat Ogre or Minor is block, depending on what you like better. That's because of the 1 secondary. If we've got more, we can block the Ogre up as well. I did put Bullseye here. You know, if you want to have a bit of fun, you could put Bullseye on the Troll, well, actually on the Ogre probably, and throw the Goblin at the cage. And then if the ball pops loose, you have a Dark Elf to go and get it. Like, it's something you can do. I'm not saying it's good, but it could work. Hence why I put it there. But I think it's a bit of a reach, honestly. The big package, the good package, I don't think you're going to see this for a long time, to be honest. But this is now we're talking. It's 1200. We've got 13 players, 3 rerolls, Apo. We've got a couple of secondaries. We've got a stack to blodge the Delph, and then we've just got loads of skills to get combat skills on the roster, so you can actually like properly fight. Yeah, and that'll do stuff. Yeah, Chaos Renegades. There we go. Dark Elves are next. They've dear, dear. The only star I've put on Dark Elves, and I think I put it on all the elves as well, is Zolcath. Now, that's because the special rule is incredibly overpowered, but you're probably going to need 1200. And yeah, I've not done the maths on any of these, but I could potentially maybe see that's. I don't know if that's even possible, to be honest. But yeah, core skills: block, dodge, wrestle, leader, kick, question mark. You could put it on the runner to try and make punk better. I mean, if you were limited on elites and it was like what, like 1155 primaries, and you were limited on elites to a hard cap of 4, then well, no, actually, you would take wrestle. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is good, but you can do it. Right, so what do I get for my sort of minimum viable? How much is it costing you? 1135. It's 11 players, and you want 6 primaries to scale up all of your positionals, which are 2 Witch Elves, 2 Blitzers, 2 Assassins. Assassins are dodge, the Blitzers are dodge, the Witch Elves are block and wrestle, or wrestle, depending on what your flavor is. I think probably you want block wrestle now because you've got the dodge assassins to be caged dive threats as well as one of the wrestle witch, and then you've got a block frenzy thing. But yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. 5 linos here gives you things to be hit, and they're still good at dodging, so that's good. 3 rerolls and an Apo, that is. So not terribly expensive. It's a bit fragile in quite a bangery matter with all the tackle mighty blows running around. So this is probably going to, you take this to a 3-game tournament, 1-1-1 should be easily doable. You might have a game where it just explodes into a million pieces, but there it is. Now, what have I said for the the full fat roster? I've said 1165. That gives you 12 players, and you want 7 primaries because you're taking a runner now, and you're giving it leader, and you've gone down to 2 rerolls and an apo. So we've got 7 positionals, same skills on the other guys as before, and the leader enables you to take 12 players, and an apo is much more resilient, and I think this is probably the way to go. So yeah, this is what you want to see. Next up is Alban Union. I've given these a C rating just purely because they're still elves, so they can do stuff. It's not good though. It's really bleak actually, and this is probably generous. What have I said for the Threadbare roster? 11-10. What does this give you? It gives you 12 players, and I've said you want at least 7 skills. Just because it's bad, right? What 7 skills are you taking? Dodge blitzers, 2. So you've got 2 blodge steppers. Dodge on your catchers because you've only got 2. So there you go. That gives you 3 skills left. You'll note here there's only 2 rerolls. So your thrower's taking leader. Then you've got 2 skills left after that, which are, it's wrestle or dodge on alignment, really. It's really bleak, actually. It's really horrible. You've got an apo to bring back, but this is well bang out of ball, especially with all the mighty tackles running around. So this is a concern, really. They need to be like high press, high aggression to force the turnovers, and this is going to be vulnerable. But you're going to be able to draw games because this is still plenty enough to get your offense done. So yeah, and you things can happen, so you can win. Hence why I've said this is viable. Bigger package, something that looks a bit better. 1175. So really, they need quite a lot of money to get sort of a favourable situation. And then you also have to think about the context. What is everyone else getting if they're getting 1175? They're probably going to get a lot as well. So that should probably be setting off alarm bells. I'd probably, if I was going to take them, I'd probably be looking at OWA in particular and just seeing how big the package was, because if they're getting like 1157 skills or something like that, they're just going to chew through these guys. They're going to kill them. So I'd be scared. I've said 8 primaries here and 2 stacks. This is still 2 rerolls and an apothecary. We're still taking the thrower and giving it leader to get to our 3 rerolls. But now we've got, the 13 bodies. So we've got 8 linos to just throw in the way and try and make stuff happen. And then you'll see up here suggested skills. We could just blodge or rodge the catchers, which works. Or we could do something more interested with the blitzers, dodge strip ball, dodge dive and tackle. I didn't put it here, but frenzy. Definitely dodge frenzy as well could work. Or you could even do like a wrestle strip ball catcher, but I really, for me now, because you've only got 2 catchers, these guys both need to be the scoring threats. So I'd want them both to be like dodgers, basically. And then I think you're just offloading even more of the work onto the 2 blitzers. So yeah, which you just hope don't get randomly killed by a mighty tackle. So fingers crossed. Next up, we have gnomes. I've put these down as a D rating. I just don't think they're very good. So the minimum viable roster, the good thing is you can build them properly, and this will give you this will cost you 1090. You get 14 players, 8 skills. I've said a secondary here because you want at least one block tree, really. And then, yeah, what are we doing with the skills? Dodge, 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 dodge. Obviously, it goes without saying that they are very affected by any elite skill cap. If there is such a cap, just don't bother because these guys are useless. This gives you 5 rerolls and an Apo, so you can be super aggressive with it. And yeah, if the ball pops out, you've got a fox, right? So not terrible. You can do stuff with it. It's just not reliable at all. And with the mighty tackles, it's going to fall apart very quickly. What I've said as an ideal is something just to abuse stars with. So this is a 13-man roster. We've got all the positionals, 5 linemen, 3 rerolls. No Apo. I've included the Apo, which is probably wrong. Whatever. No Apo. And then after your star tax, you probably want 6 skills still, probably a couple of secondaries, and that's your block trees and dodge spam on some gnomes. And then the stars, Maple, Jordell, both good. On the Woodland League side, so that's probably where you're looking at. You could do a run below kind of thing, or the fishing rod dude, but yeah, I don't rate names. I think they're terrible. On the other hand, we have goblins who have had a big glow up. I've only done one roster for goblins, and this is a proper goblin build where you're actually playing goblins. The alternative is to just not really do any of the secret weapons, bring Ripper in for Bullseye and abuse Bullseye and Swoop, which has been massively upgraded now, and should lead to some hilariously easy one-turns. So yeah, you can do that if you want, but yeah, this is the proper we're playing goblins roster. It's 11:45, 15 men. I said you want 8 skills, including 2 primaries. That should be 2 secondaries. This gets you, as I said, 15 players, 3 rerolls, 2 bribes. All of the toys I've taken, hence why you need the bribes. We got a couple of trolls, you want to give them block. Pogo, ideally you give it block as well, but sidestep's okay, I suppose, for a ball carrier because you carry him on that because you're playing proper goblins. The fanatic, you want to give it mighty blow. The doom diver is fine as it comes. So is the hooligan now. Sneaky gets a bit nerfed, so it's just not worth it. Pass on the bomber. The loony doesn't get anything either. And then we just take a couple of DP linos just to make sure that you can fail with dirty player every single turn. And just go for it. The swoop buff is incredible. If you are just playing your drive and it starts to go horrifically wrong because you're playing goblins, you can just throw the swoop and it's pretty likely that it's going to work. It's really good. So top stuff there. Next up is halflings. I've given them a C rating. They've lost Griff, Violin, but instead they've got Jordell, so this is fine. This is one where I have just given you the roster because I think if it's 11:50 and stars aren't banned, or if they're not banned, this works. It's 11:50. You've got 9 halflings. You've got a hefty. You've got 2 treemen. You only need 1 skill, and that's leader on the hefty. I mean, you could do it without because this is no rerolls, but you probably do want the leader still. If you get any more block trees, if they're secondaries, are great. You do some diving tackle halflings, I suppose, if you've got even more for some reason. No devious anymore. Sorry, no sneaky get anymore, but it's been nerfed anyway. So there it is. And yeah, here it is, Jordell on Maple. So you've got 3 trees and a War Dancer, which is pretty good, isn't it? So, not bad. Right, next are a team that's been absolutely devastated by the update to 2025, and that is humans. So what we got? It's bleak, guys. It's really bad. This roster here is like trying to play the team. This is going to be bloody hard. So what I said is 11:15 is the minimum. I don't think they even work at 11 because you're not really giving up anything of this to try and get results. So 11:15 is your minimum. That gives you 13 players, and I've said you want 7 skills with one of them being a secondary. What does that give you? 6 linemen. It gives you a halfling to throw and try and get results that way. Or you can just throw it at the cage if it's really desperate. 2 catchers, which are great now, so probably block and wrestle on here. So yeah, 1 sacker, 1 carrier. We've got the thrower. He's probably going to take block, and he's still okay, although he's been pass nerfed for some reason. 2 blitzers are going to be guard, and they're going to support your block ogre, and you're just going to follow in behind the block ogre and hope things go well. 4 rerolls because you're rolling a load of dodges because you can't fight anymore because you don't have any guards. So the Apo is going to, you know, probably saved for the blitzers or the catchers, honestly, depending on how bad things are going for you. So yeah, you got 4 rerolls, so you can roll the dice and get results, but it's bleak. It's really bad. What I've said is the ideal roster for humans is using them as a star caddy, basically. Now, what does that look like? I've put here a roster that costs 885k. That gives you 11 players, and I've said you want 6 primaries left after your star tags. So what players do we have? We have 5 linemen. We have 2 catchers because they're really good. We have a thrower to carry the ball and then hand off to the catchers when things become horrible. We have 2 blitzers who take guard and support your star, and we have an ogre who takes guard and supports your star. If you've got a secondary, give it block just to do more damage. You got a couple of rerolls, no Apo here. This gives you 265k left over. That does let you afford Skrorg, so that's a thing, which is good and can do some work. Or either Strength 4 guard tackle is going to be good. So yeah, that's both of them are good. It's 2 rerolls. You can take leader on the thrower to get up to 3 rerolls. And yeah, I don't really see playing humans normally. I think you play them as Star Caddy, and I think most tournaments are going to ban stars early on. So I wouldn't, never fear human coaches. You'll get a chance to get your models out again, but they're probably going away for 7 or 8 months. Just forget about it, move on, and you'll get the chance to play them again, I'm sure. The last one for this video, and then I'm going to have a break and do a second part later, is knobs. And knobs have had a glow up. I've put them as B rated. I think that's probably generous. You'll notice here I've not put any stars. The reason I've not put any stars is we've already seen 2 human rosters, the Bretts and the humans, which are good Star Caddy races, right? If you want to, and the Star Access is the same, it's Old World Classic. If you want to take an Old World Classic star, just look at one of them and choose which one you want and do that. And it's fine. Knobs are, if you play knobs, you want to play the team because it's okay. So what have I said for minimum viable? 11:15. That gives you 12 players, and you want 6 primaries. What players do you have? You have 5 retainers. You have 4 bodyguards, 2 blitzers, and an ogre. And with your 6 primaries, you'll notice here that they don't really have many skills to go to. But yeah, with your 6 primaries, you're taking 4 guard bodyguards and 2 dodge blitzers. I'll put tackle here and frenzy actually. You could do a dodge blitzer and a tackle or frenzy. I personally don't like it, but people do. So there you go. 3 rerolls and an Apo. So yeah, you've got the Apo now. The cost has come down. You've lost a movement on the bodyguards, which hurts a bit, but yeah, it's 12 men and an Apo. Although the Linos are crap, you should probably be able to field like 10 players going into those games, and that should be okay potentially. So yeah, you can get stuff done with this roster. Now for a more generous package, 1160 is probably the sweet spot where they're pretty much done at this stage. And I've said 9 skills in a secondary here, but you can probably do it for a little less. But the good thing about the 9 skills is it's going to skill up all of your sort of positionals. With 8 is fine as well. But yeah, so what are the 9 skills doing? The secondary is giving your ogre block. The blitzers get dodge, the body, or one of the other skills if you want it. The bodyguards get guard, and then the throwers, you'll notice this is 2 rerolls and an Apo. So one's taking leader, and then the other one's taking block, probably. Just to give you another block sort of blitzing piece. Both the blitzers and the throwers have got pro now, and pro does work on secure the ball. So actually, these are like pretty reliable picker uppers. That actually the most really. If you have no team rerolls, this is as good as it gets. As long as you fulfill the conditions of secure the ball. So yeah, they're pretty reliable at scooping the ball up and getting it moving. So yeah, knobs are okay. They're definitely viable. And yeah, you could if you wanted to if you had the skills to give sort of leader, then you can do stuff with like just taking one thrower and stuff like that, and that would come in under 1150. But yeah, you really you want to skill up the bodyguards, the blitzers, and the ogre before you start taking the leader skill, in my opinion. So that's why I've put here the minimum. Just bin off the throwers, and this is as cheap as it gets really. And you've got your core guys skilled. So there we go. So thank you for watching. That was part 1, and I'll pick up with part 2 shortly. See you later.